athletes. As it has been, even though you may have a personal relationship with these folks, we ask that you identify yourselves for the camera and for the record. And Coach, I think we're going to get our first question right here in the front row to your right.
Hey, Coach, Bennett Conlon, the Daily Progress. Carla Williams mentioned this a little bit earlier, but I was curious where your team stands with vaccinations and percentages, and I guess how that helps you move forward with a potentially normal fall.
Yeah. So the question was regarding vaccinations. The University of Virginia has a unique policy. I'm not sure how widespread it is, but all students are required to be vaccinated before they come back to Charlottesville. There are possibly 2 exemptions. Medical exemption is one of those exemptions that's possible. A religious exemption is the other. We don't make those decisions. The university does. So every player on my team, that's 100%, has either been vaccinated or been granted the exemption at this point.
Coach, right in front of you to your left.
Coach Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. 5 years and change now as you head into year number 6. Just what you can say about assessing these last 5 years and what you've seen out of yourself, as well as what you've seen from what your plan was when you came in.
Yeah, assessment and development would be growth and progress. In terms of the timing, I expected our year 2 to be year 1. So year 1 in Charlottesville was 2-10. Year 2 was return to postseason. Year 3 was a bowl game victory. Year 4 was the Coastal Championship, and then to the Orange Bowl, which is a pretty aggressive ascent in 4 years. I'm not sure where to put the COVID year right now, other than in its own category. But really, I would view it as if we were going to a play where we've seen Act 1, 4 years, with the COVID not necessarily being intermission, but it's some different category, and now Act 2 is coming, which is the next 4 years. So I think aggressive success, incremental improvement, and now to apply the learnings from the COVID year will really determine the next 4 years, including the one coming up.
Stay on your left, Coach, about the same sight line, 3rd row.
Bob Holliday, WRL.com. Virginia gave up 304 yards a game through the air last year, which was last. That's not characteristic of your defenses at all. How did it happen? Maybe COVID had something to do with it. And what is the offseason entailed to fix that problem?
Yeah, so the biggest determinant right now on outcome of years or games in the COVID year was our secondaries play, and yards led to points in the secondary. A little bit of carryover from the year before, so I would say the last year and a half. So the Orange Bowl year and our Coastal Championship, the end of that year, injuries started to happen, and there was a significant drop-off in our defensive performance. Some of those same issues occurred in the COVID year as well, and so health, depth, and then possibly the implementation of, I would say, the best players at the best time and keeping them healthy will have a lot to do with our success defensively. So a characteristic, about a year and a half's worth of a similar result, starting with injury and then possibly not innovating far enough to address the injuries is how I would assess it.
Coach, to your right, about the 4th row, please stand.
Hey, Coach, Bruce Marshall from Sports Byline USA. I'm a big Rocky Long fan.
Me too.
And yeah, I bet, and I predict much improvement from New Mexico this year with the defense. But I want to know his influence on you and his overall impact as a great defensive mind and how it's impacted you in your career.
So thank you for the question. The coach that's had the most influence on me as a head coach, but also maybe more importantly as a defensive coordinator, which I held both roles for a long time. Most of what I learned that was positive and effective about defensive football came from Rocky. He thrives on an effort-based system and blitzing and unique looks that really are unidentifiable prior to the snap. But really the mindset is what sets his defenses apart besides the innovation. And that has served me so well. His system, the 3-3-5, has been replicated and has had a lot of success. It's what I chose to run at Brigham Young University when I first arrived there. And the roots of that still have led to, I would say, my success as a head football coach. And so I would attribute it directly to his influence. No question that New Mexico, they'll have more success. So Danny Gonzalez, who is the head coach, was my graduate assistant when I was at New Mexico. I coached him as well as him being a GA for me. So Rocky taught me basically. I coached and taught Danny. And so it's really fun to see the next generation kind of emerging. I love the idea of succession planning, grown from within. Almost all of my coaches played for me or were GAs. And so I love that model. But really, so much of it came through expectations, and Rocky just would not tolerate you not trying hard. He could tolerate a lot of other things, but if you did not try hard, that was not okay. And I've loved and embraced that philosophy ever since.
Coach, right up the center aisle to your left, about the 5th row.
William Fauché, WUVA. Coach, the team really struggled away last year despite the lack of fans. What do you think about the impact of fans coming back not only to Scott Stadium but to opposing stadiums as well?
Yeah, so our current program, it goes more than the pandemic year. So 17-2 is what our record has been at home. We're second to last in the ACC in my tenure on the road. So it's not just a pandemic specific thing. Our program has been built very intentionally to become dominant at home, and then we have to expand and be exceptional on the road. The year we won the Coastal Division, again, we were dominant at home and then beat not only Pitt, but UNC on the road. And that's about what the model is called for on the Coastal Division, where you have to be excellent at home and then at least 50% on the road. We are currently not doing that. But that's the next level of expansion. To have consistency in our program is to, again, maintain what we're already doing at home, which is very strong, and then that has to travel, and that hasn't yet. And so that's one of the areas of growth, and that wasn't pandemic specific.
Coach, to your right here on the 1st row. On your right, 1st row here.
Oh, hey.
Caroline Darnish.
The hand help, thank you.
You're welcome. Streaky Milan, SB Nation. Coach, you've added some faces through the transfer portal, obviously some new faces coming in, but how in the secondary, you got a couple new guys. You're also looking, potentially you could classify Ronnie Walker Jr. as still a new face transfer, and Jelani Woods. How have some of these players fit into the system, and what do you expect from them this season?
Yeah, I think framing how we consider a possible graduate transfer. And I love the idea of a grad transfer, knowing that they have completed their eligibility, but also have graduated, which is the primary reason to go to college anyway. So I love acknowledging and looking there, because they've already shown they've grasped the idea of doing both things that are really important. But then it comes to, I think any one of us in any capacity wants to be needed and wanted. And I won't consider a graduate transfer that we don't really need, but then I better like them as a person. Otherwise, what a grind that is, just to be with someone you don't like every day. So those two criteria have to be met. And so in Jelani's case at tight end, really a good fit and really a good player. We've already seen that in the fall. In the secondary, back to one of the first questions we had, we've learned that injuries matter and that secondary controls points, and we haven't been quite deep enough. And so we look to the grad transfer market to add some depth and stability, knowing that football is a physical game and injuries can happen. And in the secondary, wow, does that affect outcome? And so we needed more depth there, which we got. And so each of the choices have been really specific, intentional, but also players know they could be valued and have a chance to upgrade a role than maybe what they had elsewhere. And so it really ends up being a win-win. And then the chance for a graduate degree from UVA, that's rocket fuel for their future. And so besides football, it's a great thing.
Coach, to your left, hard left on the 2nd row.
The hard left helped.
Hey, Coach, Jim Hobgood with Who's Talking in Richmond. You know, we've seen a lot of quarterbacks today, wide receivers, running backs, safeties, linebackers. Leads me to ask the question, how do you feel about your special teams this year?
To be determined. So the reason you're asking is we're losing our place kicker and we're losing our punter. And so to be determined, really like Justin Dunkel. He was our kickoff player last year, but he earned the job in the spring, which isn't the fall yet, in handling our PATs and field goals as well. So Justin Dunkel could be handling all place kicking responsibilities. And then our punter, Brendan Farrell, I really liked what I saw from him in the spring, but we did add a grad transfer. How far you kick the ball in field position does matter. And so a graduate transfer from Florida has arrived, and there'll be competition there. And what I've learned over time is competition usually drives performance. And it doesn't allow complacency, and especially in positions of vital impact, yeah, We need that when we punt the football. So we haven't named a punter yet. We'll find out. And then Justin has the spot through spring. He has to carry it through the fall. The return game is a whole other issue, and yeah, don't know yet on the returner other than Billy Kemp's our punt returner. Don't have a kickoff returner yet.
Swing back to your right, Coach, about midway, fifth row.
Cortland Griffin with a three-point conversion. Coach, you spoke about your grad transfers. One of those guys in the secondary is Josh Hayes from North Dakota State. Can you speak on his role for the team and what he brings to your locker room?
Yeah, we a pretty simple principle as well that I use when considering grad transfers is if I don't think they can start, I won't bring them. When you've played and been successful in a current institution, which he has in 3 FCS championship games and being a starter and doing really well, doesn't make sense to consider a player like that as a backup, really, or any grad transfer. And so again, we're looking to improve our play in the secondary, improve our play at corner, and to improve our play, quite frankly, in managing points and yards through the air. And we think, from what we've seen, he could do all of those things, will add a lot of value to us. But then leadership skills and work ethic and all those intangibles kind of back to if I don't like a player and I don't want to be around him every day, I won't bring him. Instantly liked Josh and who he is and his work ethic, and he's been a seamless fit to our program. So really excited about him.
Coach, thank you. We'll switch spots with Brennan now.
Great, thanks.
So as Brennan approaches, again, even though you may have self-identified with our head coach, if you would reintroduce yourself to Brennan, that would be great. Our first question for Brennan will be here on the front row. Brennan, to your right.
Hey, Brennan, Bennett Highland, the Daily Progress. I was curious just how much more comfortable you are now going into your second year as a starter, maybe compared to last year going into the season.
Yeah, I would say just a lot more comfortable. You know, we got our 5 O-line returners. A lot of chemistry being built in the spring ball game and just spring practices. And yeah, just a lot of games under my belt. I think games under my belt helps a lot. Yeah, just a huge jump from first to second year already, just through spring ball and having that time with the receivers and just the guys. Yeah, just a lot more comfortable.
Brennan, for the first time today, we're going to go to the cameras all the way in the back to your left.
Hey, Brendan. Hi. Dave Walsh from ABC 13 in Lynchburg. It's very rare that a team brings 2 quarterbacks to this event, and that says a lot about what Coach thinks not only about you, but about Keith. Tell me about the relationship between the two of you, and what kind of challenges did the two of you have in filling some very big shoes that were left behind from Bryce?
Oh, me and KT, man, when we jumped in together, you know, when he came in from Mississippi State, we started having our competition, you know, just like any other place would. And once we started having, you know, once I got the spot, we had KT just, you know, start doing a lot of other different things. And me and KT's relationship developed a lot through our fall, you know, this past fall season. You know, we were texting each other all the time, you know, just like, you know, we're staying in there, hang in there, like we're just going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing. We have some great texts, and actually we'll hold on to those for a long time. Yeah, our relationship is a lot better than what it started out to be, obviously. But yeah, I'm super excited where we are now with him, because he plays a huge impact in our offense.
Brendan, right in front of you to your left.
Brendan, Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. Going off of that, just what KT does for this offense and the ability to utilize you both, just how multi-layered and how dangerous does that make you? How would you describe it?
I mean, it's dangerous. It's hard to prepare for. I feel like with him being able to do a lot of stuff, you know, him able to hop at quarterback, maybe me hop out at quarterback, just little things like that, just hard to prepare for. You know, different motions with him coming in the backfield, you know, leaving the backfield. Just a lot of stuff that can go on, especially he can do it all. Run, throw, you know, rush, it doesn't matter. So it's just a hard thing for teams to prepare for, and we're going to use that to, you know, the best of our ability to make that as hard for teams to, you know, prepare for.
Brennan, to your right, first row.
Hey, Brennan, Caroline Darney, Streaking the Lawn, SB Nation. Going into the season, a lot of people thought Lavelle was going to be the #1 target. Obviously, his injury, things are shaken up a little bit in the wide receiver core. Who's really stood out or that you've been able to connect with, and what kind of role do you see Billy Kemp continuing to play, considering the just production he had last season?
Yeah, I think just like I said, spring ball has been huge for us. Rashawn Henry, Tavion Wicks, Jelani Woods, Billy Kemp always. Those guys, we've just created a huge chemistry, a lot of chemistry being built. Rashawn surprised a lot of us, I think everybody can say that. Rashawn Henry surprised a bunch of us in spring ball, made a lot of plays, a lot of big plays. Billy Kemp's always going to be there. He does what he does, and he's really good at it. He's always going to be in any game, no matter how all the lows and highs of games. He's always going to be there. I can always trust in him. But yeah, Rashawn Henry was a huge surprise for us. We're pretty excited to see him on the field.
Brendan, your last question from here at the podium. In 2019, you missed 4 games due to injury. Yet in 2020, you were named a co-captain. So what does this say about your approach to the game, even while sidelined, that earned you a spot as captain?
Yeah, I would just say, I grew up in a small town, work pretty hard, just kind of is what I do. Work ethic's kind of what I try to stand for. I work hard, and that just speaks for itself. And I felt like the team, kind of saw that. And I guess that's kind of how I earned the co-captain award last year. So I think, yeah, just working hard always gets you where you need to be. And sometimes words doesn't always speak. Obviously, actions speak louder than words. So, yeah, that's kind of what I stand by.
Well done, Brendan. Thank you. Let's switch spots with Joey. Joey coming up as our safety for Virginia today. All right, folks, who wants the first one with Joey at the podium? We're going to start right here, right up the aisle. Joey, to your left, about 5th row up, right on the edge.
Hey, Joey, William Fauché, WUVA. Now kind of losing your partner in crime in Snowden, who have you been looking at on the field, either from the young guys or anyone else that has now been your kind of shoulder to lean on as a leader on this team?
I'll name off a couple of guys that I'm looking for some leadership qualities and mentality. I'm going to say Nick Jackson, phenomenal season last year as our Mike backer, was one of the top ACC performers in tackling and really showed us that he's a defender that everyone needs to take account for. But also I want to say Nick Grant as well on the side at corner. He came in last year, had a pretty good season, made some plays, but I think me and him both are trying to prove a lot this year and trying to set up the next generation of UVA. We're trying to leave this place better than we found it together.
Joey, to your right, about the 5th row.
Cortland Griffin with 3-point conversion. Joey, your father, Tony, played at UVA as well, played defensive back, and you spoke about the next generation, and you kind of fit that. Can you speak about anything that your father has told you while playing DB, and since you kind of play a similar position to what he played?
I mean, I wouldn't be the player I am without my dad, that's for sure. He kind of taught me the ins and outs, basic techniques about defense, and really transitioning those to high school and to the college level. We definitely got to a certain point where, he wasn't as coaching me as hands-on and more just took the father role and let the coaches coach me. But, playing similar positions, like you said, we both played safety here at UVA. And, he's kind of just guiding me through this way. Let this be my own journey, though. And that's one thing I would like to state. Making the decision to come to UVA was mine and mine only. And he made that very clear, that he had his journey set out and his path was already made, and he wanted me to make my own journey and set up my own legacy for myself. But nonetheless, I'm proud to be his son, and I'm blessed to be a UVA.
Joey, right in front of you to your left.
Joey, Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. Bronco, just what he's meant to this team, what he means to you as a leader, and what you can say it is to be in a locker room with Bronco Mendenhall.
I mean, Coach Mendenhall means, I guess, the world to me. He gave me the opportunity to come to UVA and showcase my abilities. I have a quick story about Coach Mendenhall that I'll share real fast. I remember being recruited at UVA, and it was like a junior day visit. Happened all the time. Came to a basketball game. I'm pretty sure it was UVA versus either Duke or North Carolina. And I got called down to like an underground office under the stadium with my dad. And Coach Mendenhall, I was talking to him with my dad. He handed me a sheet of paper to read out loud. So of course I was nervous reading in front of a head coach. I wanted to make sure my words were right. I wasn't stumbling on everything. I read this document. I'm with my dad. And at pretty much the last paragraph, it just stated, we want to offer you a full academic full scholarship, essentially, to the University of Virginia. I remember looking up in that moment, like, I looked at my dad was crying, I'm crying, Coach Mendenhall was just proud, like just smiling at me, saying that it's just not about football here though, it's about becoming an all-around man, like a good human being. And at that moment I felt like there was more purpose in life than just football. And it's been a constant struggle, honestly, with football, ups and downs, trying to find purpose in that, but Coach Mendenhall really meant the world to me, and it still does, and he's given me opportunities day in and day out to be the best person I can be.
Joey, from the podium, a bit of a follow-up to that. With your injuries last year, what was your approach in staying mentally sharp, given those challenges and given the challenges of the world?
I think 2020 was crazy for everybody, but I may have had a crazier year with football. Like you stated, I dealt with bad injuries to my legs, and that kind of prevented me from playing in my senior year. But nonetheless, with everything going around, trying to stay mentally sharp, that I knew that it was not just about myself, but the team. So I was really trying to influence and encourage the younger guys who were stepping up positions that were playing, first-time starters, playing in positions that I played in. I have a lot of experience in the secondary, so trying to pass on those knowledge and keep myself mentally sharp to lead the team, not on the field, but take a position of off the field or maybe like a sideline leadership. So, and with that all being said, it wasn't an easy task, but I did my best. I hope I did it well enough to pass on good knowledge to everyone else.
Anything else for Joey? All right, Joey, if you'll switch places with Keaton, he will round us out with the Who's. I believe we have this correct, that at 2:47, we see our first bow tie on the podium, so well done, Keaton. Our first question for Keaton today, and it could be about apparel, it could be about anything. First row, Keaton, to your left.
Keaton, Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. You're a wild card of this offense. Just bring me into what you can do. Brendan spoke about it a little bit, but just what you're looking forward to and what you truly bring to 2021.
Appreciate it, and I can do whatever you need me to do. That's the whole idea. So just, going out there and taking whatever my coaches give me and really be humble about it and really focus in on the attention to detail and just taking the coaching. I feel like we have a great set of coaches. I wouldn't be able to do what I do without our coaches, and they coach me, to do my task the right way. I'm just able to, pick up on that and go on with it and execute on the field. So I think it's a big credit to my coaches for just being able to coach me to do all these different things.
KT, to your right, first row.
Caroline Darney, Streaking Lawn. Keaton, what has just this experience been like? Just, you seem to be having a good time today. The bow tie, we talked all about that stuff, but just heading into the season, also, has your approach changed at all, knowing the difficulties that everybody went through last season? Like, has it changed the way you look at the game and how you get ready?
I've really been having a lot of fun today, but nothing has really changed. I've been enjoying myself. As far as like off-season preparation and workouts, the coastal is tough. That's definitely been on my mind a lot, and last season did not go the way we wanted to go. So obviously, we had to work harder and amp it up this off-season, and but other than that, just being intensified and just taking workouts, the off-season workouts serious, trying to get myself in the best physical shape possible to help my team win.
First row, hard left.
Keaton, Tyler Everett, Sports Business Journal. Can you tell me about your reaction to the NIL law and what's that going to open up for you and how you're pursuing those opportunities?
I think NIL is great. It's great for college football, the athletes at least, and as of now, it's a lot of rules and regulations around that, and you don't want to get caught up, getting in any allegations or any, ineligibility because of NIL. So as of right now, I'm just keeping the main thing, just trying to focus on myself, and I feel like as long as we, ball out and get victories, everything will take care of itself when the season comes.
To your right, about the fifth or sixth row back.
Cortland Griffin with the three-point conversion. So Keaton, you wear number 99. So with the NIL, stuff going on, and everything. Have you thought about marketing number 99, maybe 99 reasons that you cause a defensive coordinator or anything like that?
I've thought about it a little bit here and there, but like I just answered before, I haven't given much thought to the NIL thing. I'm just, I have a lot going on right now with school and football, and I'm just trying to take care of that first before I get into the NIL thing. Good question, though.
Keaton, from the podium here, does losing to your in-state rival for the final game of the season and not reaching a bowl game, does that sit with you during the offseason?
Of course. We definitely didn't want to lose that game, and I don't know, I broke my ribs in that last game, and that was really painful, so I couldn't move, I couldn't work out for a nice amount of time after the game, and that was all I was really able to think about was our rival game and just being at that game for a long time. So of course it sat with me, and it's motivated me throughout this offseason to push myself and be the best that I can be, and I'm looking forward to the next game.
Anything else for Keaton here from the floor? We'll take one more. First row, right here to your right.
Hey, Keaton, Bennett Kylan with the Daily Progress. I guess just following up on that, how are the ribs and the health now? And I guess when did you, if you are 100%, when did you feel like you got back to 100%?
I'm feeling great now, actually. I would say just got back to 100% probably about a month ago. I mean, I've been able to work out for a long, long time, and I've been working out and doing stuff. I just still had a little pain. There's no surgery, so they have to heal naturally. So it's just dealing with the pain, but it's pretty much subsided all the way, and I'm feeling great, ready to get in the fall camp, build that chemistry with my guys and get into the season 100% healthy.
KT, thank you. Virginia, good luck this season.
Thank you.
Last up this afternoon for the Coastal Division will be Georgia